This lesson, we're talking about the misconceptions in space. You know, a lot of times when people have they want to argue about the creation evolution issue, they usually go one of two ways. One is radiometric dating. We'll cover that in another lesson. But the other one is in space. The Bible declares, Psalm 19:1, that the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Everything is exactly where it's supposed to be, and it stays exactly where it's supposed to be. There's as much evidence for holographic universe as there is for traditional explanations, researchers said. As there is for traditional explanations, which is telling us they have nothing for traditional explanations. Why do we still have them, or where are they coming from? They have this idea called an Oort cloud. In that case, they assigned red, blue, and green colors to the filters and combined them to highlight the subtle differences. In real life, those wavelengths of light would be hard to distinguish for humans. Okay, in real life, we can't see this stuff. They've taken filters and colors, filters to hone in on certain frequencies or whatever, and then they've assigned a color to that filter. And then they go make this thing and say, well, what's wrong with that then? I mean, so that is a fairly decent representation. Well, maybe not. Here are several versions of the exact same thing. Pop that thing on and you can tune in the image. That frequency is in this room right now also. You got towers, cell phone antenna towers out there. That's bad. That's a bunch of them too, by the way. That's crazy. But you know how many frequencies are being pushed into this room right this very second? But we can't see a single one of them. Okay, so let's do what they did. Let's take a measuring piece of equipment that can and tune it into any one of those specific frequencies, and let's record that data and assign red to that. And let's take a machine and let's tune into another frequency. Well, now let's tune it into the clicker here, and let's assign blue to that frequency. And then let's do another one, and let's put green. And let's do another one, let's put purple. Let's do another one, let's put pink. Let's do another one. Folks, do you realize we could make our own cat's eye nebula out of what's in this room right now? God made two great lights. We got the sun and the moon is what it's talking about. The greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the day. And he made the stars also. Evolutionists say the sun is a star. God said he made the sun and the moon and the stars. If I move this pulpit a mile out, I won't be able to see it because it's too far, although it's still the same size. If I move it a mile out and I'm able to see it as though it is the same size here today, do you understand how large it would have to be? God said, let there be light in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and years. God put those sun, moon, and stars out there for us, for our benefit. They're not the main focus, they're for our benefit. They're admitting that no one has ever successfully predicted or explained a constant. 6 Earths in perspective of Saturn, and we're just some little old speck of something insignificant, lucky to be here. I mean, that's nothing compared to Canis Majoris, 2.9 billion times larger than the sun. Here's the sequence of those that I just showed you. You can't even see the little bitty old speck of Earth over there. We're so insignificant, and that's nothing compared to the vastness of everything that they claim. Remember, they say now they got 2 trillion galaxies out there they found. For centuries, Isaac Newton's straightforward equations, isn't it funny that his equations were straightforward, and now we have to have all this stuff that nobody can figure out? 84% of matter is missing, okay? I think maybe they ought to come to the conclusion that their math ain't working out. Pop goes the universe. The latest astrophysical measurements combined with theoretical problems cast doubt on the long-cherished inflationary theory of the early cosmos and suggest we need new ideas. The simplest inflationary models, including those described in standard textbooks that your children are using, by the way, are strongly disfavored by observations. Of course, theorists rapidly rushed to patch the inflationary picture, but at the cost of making arcane models. The speed of light is not a constant. Remember that inconstant constants earlier? The speed of light, they say, is 186,000 miles per second. They call it a constant, but it's not. Freezing light in its tracks. If man can stop this much of the frequency, what if all this can be stopped also? Which it can. It's not the constant that they claim it to be. So what if all this, do you know there are animals that see above and below us? And there are animals that hear above and below us? And this is real sci-fi. This is science fiction, you know. Project Tomorrow. The future is powered by fiction. Folks, there are all kinds of things that used to be sci-fi, all sorts of, sounds weird, but do you understand the last 30 minutes of the stuff I've been showing you, it's all fiction? but it's all been in Science News, Scientific American, Discover, Nature. It's all in there. It's in the textbooks. It's there, but it's fiction. They admit that they don't have any evidence for it. In fact, there's so much not any evidence for it, that now they want to reword what science is and is not, because they still want to call it science, even though it's not. I can conceive of what that might be for ET, but not for God, unless the deity is a sufficiently advanced ET as to appear divine. They admit that the whole reason is to eliminate God. The star is at least 5 million times more luminous than our sun. I'll just park it there for a second. But can you imagine a star 5 million times brighter? They have to have these things that bright in order to see. But God said, let there be light. And He put those sun, moon, stars there for light. Folks, the truth of the matter, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth His handiwork. You know what, folks? The heavens absolutely do declare the glory of God, and the firmament where God set those sun, moon, and stars absolutely does show His handiwork. So indoctrinated with a belief system that is contrary to Scripture and contrary to what God says. Science publications saying that what they're saying is not true. It is a phenomenal creation, but folks, it was all for us. It is for us. It sounds arrogant. No, it's not, because that's what God says. He gave us dominion over everything. The light from them, navigate by them, all that kind of stuff. So we should not get things out of perspective based on what outside Antichrist